This video introduces you to getting started with screencast video feedback for students, and it comes from a project funded by the Higher Education Academy Teaching Development Grant Scheme. The first question, I suppose, is, well, what is screencast video feedback? A screencast is essentially a digital recording of a computer screen, often containing an audio narration. If student work is submitted to you in digital format, then it may be subject to screen capture feedback. In fact, the video that you're watching now is a screencast, and it's essentially a screencast of a PowerPoint presentation. However, your students may submit their work to you in Microsoft Word format, PDF, Excel, or a PowerPoint presentation, and therefore it's amenable to providing video screencast feedback. So what do you need to get started? The necessary hardware, apart from a laptop or computer, if you wish to provide audio narration, is a headset and microphone such as the one shown here. However, any desk-based microphone will suffice to provide the audio narration. The most important part, though, is the screencasting software itself. There are a number of software options now available. I'm using the first of these on the list, Camtasia, which is a feature-rich program for the creation of screen-captured video resources. It is a program that requires a license, and the videos may be hosted for free on a website called screencast.com. Another option is a program called Snagit. It's also produced by TechSmith, who make Camtasia, and again, the videos produced may be hosted on a third-party website, screencast.com. The third program here is one called Jing. Now, it's an entirely free program which may be downloaded to your PC or Mac. However, there is a limitation. Only 5 minutes worth of video may be recorded at a time. However, the videos also may be hosted on screencast.com as well. There are a number of online tools as well. I'm going to highlight just two of these here. The first is Screencast-O-Matic. Now, the free version of this online tool allows you to record up to 15 minutes of video, and you can then host the video on the Screencast-O-Matic website. There are paid versions of this particular program which allow further access to other features. Another option is Screenr.com, which again is an entirely free software tool which resides on the web. However, the limitation here is that you can only record videos up to 5 minutes duration. Screenr interfaces effectively with Twitter, and therefore it allows easy sharing of the videos. These last two examples, Screencast-O-Matic and Screenr, are very useful if you want to supply generic feedback to your students. And I'm going to, later in this video, show you a brief demonstration on how to use Screenr. Before you begin, ask yourself a few questions. Decide first of all, are you going to supply generic or individual feedback to students? That is obviously going to depend on the number of students, the type of piece of work that you are supplying feedback on. And you want to decide how you will receive the assignments from the students. Obviously, as I mentioned earlier, pieces of work received in digital format are most amenable to providing feedback in this particular manner. How will you then deliver the feedback files to the students? This is going to be a huge task if you have a large number of students and want to give individual pieces of feedback. You may decide to only give generic feedback, and this could then be hosted on any website, even on YouTube, and students given the link to view the generic feedback. Otherwise, you may want to upload individual files to the virtual learning environment so that students may download these. As I said, you can also host generic files on Screenr, on Screencast, or on YouTube. One thing I would suggest, though, is be absolutely sure that your students are able to view the file format that you're using. Perhaps do a test if you're unsure. Preparing to record. Find a quiet place for the recording. Turn off all phones, Turn off audible email, Twitter or Facebook notification sounds, as these will be captured during the recording. Have a practice run to ensure that the audio is clear and that you yourself are familiar with the screen capture process, how to save the video and so on. During the recording, be concise and positive. It's almost a way in which you can have a one-sided conversation with your student. If you're creating individual feedback, address the student by name, for example, and that adds to the personal nature of the feedback. Use the cursor or highlighting tools within, for example, Microsoft Word to draw attention to the aspect of the work being referred to on screen. General rule of thumb, a video of around 5 minutes duration should be adequate for most essays. However, if you want to supply more feedback on, for example, literature reviews or projects, that of course is fine as well. So, we're going to look at one example, and that is Screenr. As I said, there's loads of other options. In this particular case, I'm using Camtasia, but we're going to show you how to access and use Screenr. As mentioned, it resides on the web, so we're going to access it online at screenr.com. I would suggest that you create an account on Screenr. Of course, this is free. There's a number of options here whereby you can log in to Screenr. So I'm going to use Twitter. I'm going to sign in using my Twitter account, and you can see when I click on the link here, it asks me, Twitter asks me, do I want to authorize access to Screenr? It just takes a few seconds, directs me back to Screenr, and we're ready to go. And it's as simple as clicking the record button. You'll see whenever we do so, it begins to detect if I have got the correct version of Java installed on my computer, and if I don't, it will prompt me to download the most recent version, and as you can see, we're ready to go. This frame appears initially, and you can see down here that it has picked up the microphone. It's registering the fact that I'm speaking at this particular point, and you may move this frame around to capture the area of the screen that you want to record. There's a number of options down here that you can select. You can go for example, 1280 by 720. That will give you a much larger frame like the one shown here. Or if you want to, you can capture the full screen, and that will then adjust accordingly. But for the purposes of this, I'm going just to show you a smaller screen area as shown here. You can move this around just to capture the area that you're interested in, and when you're ready to go, you simply click the record button down here, and when you're finished, you click the done button that appears. So I'm going to just begin recording. It counts me down, so it says go, and off we go. We're ready now to record our screen capture. And so you could be, for example, explaining to students how to use an online program, or you could then go in to provide feedback by this particular method where you comment on their work, you highlight something they've done well, you commend them for that, you maybe then highlight, for example, referencing that needs to be tightened up and suggest how they might improve on that. And then just click done when you're finished. And you can see once we've done that, it now creates the video for me to view. And I'm going to just click on this and just listen back to our video. And off we go. We're ready now to record our screen capture. So you could be, for example, explaining to students. So you can see it is now captured the video for us. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to save this particular video. It's asking me for a description, so I'm just going to call this test screencast, and I'm going to then publish that. Now, something to be mindful of is the fact that Screenr is a publicly available website. When you host your videos on Screenr, technically anyone can view these, so therefore I'm suggesting that Screenr be used for generic feedback where you're not identifying any student specifically. You'll note down here there's two options. if you're a Twitter user, as I mentioned earlier, you can publish and tweet the video. So whenever you would hit publish and tweet, the information in this box would be the tweet, as it were, and that would then go out to your followers, and they could then click on the link to view the video. But I'm just going to, for now, click publish. So when I click publish, the screencast video is being saved to the Screenr website, and obviously depending on the length of the video, that will be an indication of how long it takes to actually upload the video to the website. My video was only 30 seconds long, so as you can see, the process happens fairly quickly. And here we have the completed video now on the Screenr website, and I can now just again test to make sure that it plays properly. And off we go. We're ready now to record our screen. Okay, so I've now got the video, and I can now share it with my students. There's a number of ways that you can do this. Over to the right hand side here, you can see that you can, for example, like it on Facebook. You can tweet it out. You can embed the code into an existing website. So if you have a module area on a VLE, or if you have your own module website, you can copy and paste the code in there. You can also have a direct link to the URL, so you could email that to your students. Down here there's various options. For example, download the MP4 file, publish to YouTube, or if you wish you can then delete the screencast. So to download the MP4 file, if we click here, this will download the file to your computer. So if this was, for example, feedback that you only wanted to send to one particular student, the best option may be to download the screencast, to save it to your computer, and then perhaps upload it to the VLE where that student is the only person can access it. So, not a bad idea either to maybe keep a copy of a screencast on your own computer for your own reference. So the MP4 file is generally viewable on most platforms, and there it was just opening into Windows Player. You can, as I said, publish directly to YouTube. So if you're a YouTube user, clicking on this link, you input your username and password, and that will allow you to then publish directly to your YouTube channel. We've now created our first example. The screencast is ready to go, ready to be published out to our students or to our group. And in fact, not only can it be used for feedback, it can be used for many other instances as well. For example, simply showing students how to use a piece of software, how to do a calculation, or many other things where the visual and the audio narration combine together to give a very good learning experience. So this has been Screenr for creating screencast video feedback for students. I hope it's been useful. If you have any queries, please feel free to get in touch. Thanks.